Hey y'all, Clark here with another video. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 6, the finale. This episode of Game of Thrones, this day of Game of Thrones is a sad day for two reasons. Number one, because it is the last episode of Game of Thrones ever. Honestly, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Number two, because this episode will be largely disappointing for numerous reasons. I don't think there's any way they can wrap this story up that will make everything they've done, everything that's happened, make sense. I think we will leave this with so many unanswered questions, so many WTF was that for? Like, it's not gonna make sense, and I feel like we're just gonna be disappointed. But here are my predictions. Number one, Dany is gonna die. I think that's pretty freaking obvious. There's no way that they're gonna finish this story with Dany living. They're not gonna exile her to Essos. She's not gonna go back and be the Queen of Meereen. Like, the line was here. This was the line and she crossed it. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no turning back for Dany. And I think it's sad because we love Dany and we're not gonna get a redemption for her. Unless maybe in her final moments when she's like laying on the ground or bleeding to death in Jon's arms, she's like, I'm sorry for what I did. Which I doubt it. I think they can't redeem her. I don't think they're gonna do. It's too late to do the pregnancy thing. What a waste. They should have done it. Maybe he'll do it in the books. She won't get any redemption. She's just gonna die. Who's gonna kill her? My top two contenders are Arya and Jon, and I think that's pretty obvious. But I think it ultimately has to be Jon for them to fulfill the Azor Ahai prophecy. Azor Ahai prophecy is in the books, and Azor Ahai was the great hero in the last long night, and he basically was able to save the world after he drove his sword into the chest of the woman he loved, which was Nissa. And I think Jon will save the world by driving his sword into the chest of Daenerys, thus fulfilling at least one of the prophecies. I think Arya will make an attempt. Maybe she'll steal a face. Maybe she'll try to steal Grey Worm's face. But I think that she will get caught, get killed, or something, or maybe something will happen, or maybe her and Jon will tag team. But I don't think Arya will be able to get this big death in addition to the Night King. Even though, since Arya didn't kill Cersei, there's a slight chance maybe she'll get to kill Daenerys, but I doubt it. But they say death does ride on a pale horse, so Arya's gonna kill somebody. But ultimately, I think that Arya may survive and just go west of Westeros, which is where she wanted to go in the beginning. Well, that's where she said she wanted to go, was west of Westeros, and maybe she'll just ride off in the sunset, never to be seen again, and that'll be our bittersweet ending for Arya. Or she'll die in her attempt to kill Dany. I do believe Jon will need a trigger. Like, I think with everything that happened, Jon still doesn't have his heart set on killing her yet. She's either gonna threaten Sansa or she's coming out swinging this episode. Burn them all. Anyone who betrayed me, execute them. Bend the knee. If you don't bend the knee, Dracarys. Like, I think she's coming out swinging and she's going to do something. Maybe she'll make a threat towards his family, a threat towards him, and he'll be like, okay, I have to do something now. Or he'll be like, his hand will be forced when it comes to killing her. I don't think, like, at the end of episode 5, in his head, he was like, gotta kill her. I don't think so. Grey Worm will definitely die. I think the Unsullied will ultimately end up going back to Essos to maybe help keep the peace in Meereen. I think the Unsullied and the Dothraki have no place in Westeros for real when there's no Dany, because there won't be a Dany. So I think they will either be destroyed or they will all go back. And I see them going back because I don't see a battle being likely in this episode. I think this will all be about political machinations and movements and conversations and secret things happening. I don't think that we'll get a battle. But I think the Unsullied will have to go back. I think Arya will probably kill Grey Worm, or Jon will kill Grey Worm, because Grey Worm gave Jon a look last episode like, try me if you want to. And I think that we're gonna see a Jon and Grey Worm fight, and I'm ready for it. Tyrion may be put on trial for what he did by freeing Jaime. I think the Unsullied have gotten word that, or they will get word to Daenerys that Tyrion freed Jaime, and she gave him one last chance, and I think that was his last chance. And I think she will try to execute Tyrion or put him on trial for his crime. And I think he might die. Tyrion might get executed by Dany. I really hope not, because I want Tyrion and Sansa to sit on the throne. But I think there's a strong chance of Tyrion being executed. I think everyone that we say goodbye to in episode 4, like Tormund, Sam, Sansa, Bran, I think all of those people who aren't in King's Landing right now are pretty much safe. Like, I think if they weren't in episode 5, they're safe. So really, I'm really mainly afraid for Tyrion. I hope that Davos is safe. I hope he gets to finally go home. Davos has a wife. For a lot of you who don't know, Davos left his wife to serve Stannis. Like, not like left her, but left home. And he hasn't been home and seen his wife in years. So I really hope that Davos can finally just go home. I think Jon will survive. I think he will either go north beyond the wall to just live out the rest of his days just alone or with Tormund and Ghost. And I ultimately see Jon probably either becoming the king and having to rule, even though he's miserable about it because he had to kill the woman he loved, his niece Anissa, and just hating his life because he's the king. Or he becomes a king and says, there's no more kings and queens, well, let's have a great council, a governing body to rule over Westeros. That's an idea, because that would be breaking the wheel, changing things, forming a democracy, having people from different regions elect their own leaders and all the leaders meet. And yeah, maybe he'll do that. Or he'll give the throne to Sansa and be like, you wanted this, sis, I'm out of here. And then he'll just go north of the wall. Ultimately, that's what I see happening. All in all, I think this will be a very disappointing episode that leaves us with more questions than answers and wondering, okay, so what was the point of this? So why did they do this? So how did they do that? I just think that we are not going to be satisfied with this ending, and it's going to be really, really sad, and we might need therapy. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and let me know what you think. Also, I'll see you guys after tonight. Hopefully I'm okay.